Hi, this is Shazad from Team One. I have my friends Aditya, Toshal, and Joel with me. We are going to demonstrate our application project for our parking management application. And so, for this, before we begin our demonstration, we just show that our database doesn't have any users and it's empty. So, you know that it's empty. We have two tables: park user details and system users, and these are empty. So we'll go and start with creating a new user. Just for your new user, we'll click over here. And over here, we will be, if we click on register, without entering any data, it will show us all the mandatory fields and those kind of things. So we'll start. Okay. And okay, we'll enter the password. So we enter random password and we'll see the validation for it. So our password must be between 4 and 10 characters. So it's exceeding 10, so it's not right. And our password must contain at least one number. Say that. Yeah. Okay. So it's correct. No, but these password do not match. So तुम्हें पता ही क्या? Okay. So now they match. So now they match. We have a correct. Okay. And for parking users, permit type is mandatory, but for parking manager and admin, they are not mandatory. If we select it and just try to submit, it say permit type is mandatory for parking user. So it's like we're creating a parking user, and it like permit type as a basic, and we'll just register. Now this is a page that will be entering the details of the user. So yeah. So before entering the details of the user, I'll just show you which are the mandatory fields. So these are all the fields are the mandatory fields. Middle name isn't mandatory. And Slack isn't mandatory, but we'll select him as a main. Okay. Uh, sorry about it. We can't select the date of birth as a greater than current date, so we'll get a error that date of birth can be greater than the current date. So we'll select a date. So we have selected a date of birth that is before the current date, and we'll again select the sex and the address. Address is a mandatory field, but it has no kind of validation. Like it can be any numbers and stuff. So for email, we have a validation, and email and phone number we have validation. And if we try to submit, it will say that the email address need to contain at the rate. If we submit, it says that the domain is invalid. So invalid. So we need to select the specific domain name. Okay. So it's like the name in domain name is like the date of birth, and now we'll go to the phone. The phone number has to be 10 digits. So we'll get the phone number should be 10 digits. Okay. So now it's submit. So it will say the phone number is correct. Okay. Moving on, we'll see the driving license number. So driving license has to be 8 digits. If we submit, it should be 8 digits. Okay, and so we'll correct it. 8 digits. We'll select the date of birth, and and we'll for expiry date has to be there's no validation for it, but it has to be mandatory. So we'll select the date of ahead 21st, and for registration it has to be between 6 to 10. So I'll just show you that registration number should be between 6 and 10. Okay. So for UTA ID, we submitted. UTA ID must be between 10 digits, must be 10 digits long. and must start with 100. Okay, so we'll just select these things, these mandatory days, we'll just fix it and we'll submit. Oh, okay, so our user has registered successfully. I'll show you in the database as well. So this is our system user. Currently, we are not hashing our password. We'll be hashing the password in the future releases of our application, and we can see the user details as well. Okay, here. And now let's log in to our application. Hmm. So since our user is a parking user, we are seeing parking user homepage, and these are the basic functionality. Currently, only the view parking spot is working. The rest will be covered in the future releases. We'll click to see the parking spot. So we have our available areas: Davis, Maverick, Netherman, West Garage. It's like Davis. Davis has only one floor, and has two different types. So it's like any one type, and we have only two dummy entries over here, and over from this we will be able to reserve a parking spot. So the user will be able to reserve a parking spot. We'll just show you also the West Garage, so which has multiple floors. So these are the multiple floors of West Garage and has the whole number of spots and those kind of things. And this is the same thing. So we'll just go out of our application and register a administrator. As I already said, that if it's permit type is not mandatory, so let's just register and it should go through. We'll be filling all the relevant details. So we is the same validation for every user. So we have already displayed the validation. So we're just entering the correct details. And when we submit, the user is registered successfully, and now we'll log in with an administrator. So this is the administrator homepage, and these are the functionality that will be available to the administrator. And the only the current functionality that is working for administrator is the search for user. So you can search for user through username and last name. So let's search for a specific user. So if we search for a specific user, we've got the details of the social. So if we try to search through from username as and give it last name, so we should be returning nothing for it's not a username. So let's try with the last name. Okay, so we search and we'll be shown the details. Sorry, apologies for the layout. It will be covered in the future releases as well. This is like the basic functionality that's working for the user, and we will log out. And now we'll be registering a parking manager. So parking manager over here, there are same things, same mandatory fields. We'll just register. We'll enter the details. It's like and we'll just like the date of birth, and we'll have the every specific details that we need. We'll be entering all the correct values since we have already shown you the validations. Okay, so the user has registered successfully, and we'll be logging in. So we have logged in, and this is the parking management homepage, and these are all the functionalities. The search for user is the same as the administrator I've shown, and we'll just show you the